Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the West-East podcast. My name is Amanda, and as always, I'm joined by the one and only Dr. Art. Good morning, Dr. Art.
Good morning, Amy.
So, uh, I'm noticing that we are not alone in our choice of outfits today, which is awesome. But today, our topic, folks, is going to be uh, loneliness and solitude. So when you hear these two words, let's just start with what's the difference, Dr. Art? What is loneliness and what is solitude?
Have you ever felt when you are in a room full of people, you are alone?
Yeah.
Have you ever
Yeah,
felt?
or
We all have felt.
like I mean I live in the city and you can feel that way often, right? You're
Yeah,
crossing a street and it's busy, or you're in like a just like any location, but you're by yourself, and you even though you're surrounded by people, you feel that it's almost like a wall. Yeah.
yeah. So physically, both the states are same. Like loneliness and solitude, both are same physically, but internally they are totally two different ecosystem. Like loneliness is a
Mm.
pain of being disconnected, and solitude is pain of being connected to yourself. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but I like that you use the word pain for both. I think the instinct is to think of like good and bad, and we talk a lot about on this show that nothing is really good or bad. It's that's the meaning we attach to it, right? So what do you mean by pain? Like the pain of being connected to yourself. Can you just unpack that a little bit
No,
more? Because I
joy,
like that
joy of
phrase. Or
being
oh,
connected
the
to
joy.
yourself.
Oh, I thought you said pain.
No, no, no.
uh, but yeah, the joy of being connected to yourself, and I think like right out of the gate, that would require knowing oneself, right? Um, I think that like I've heard it described like being alone, being on your own. I've heard it described as like a negative
People say
in
that,
so
but
many
they don't. We don't know,
situations.
and no one explains it to us that how to be that way. Even I
Yes,
struggled to
like
find out. Like I had to
yeah.
read so many things, go to through. Like my therapist used to say that try to enjoy your own company, because fear of abandonment, or you can say being alone, was one of my greatest fear. It is still
uh,
some extent I have still that, but I'm still working on it. But that
yeah.
itself is a but no one can, they can tell you that you have to be this, you have to be that, but the journey only you only have to take it.
100%.
So
I feel like being alone is such an important part of life. Like you, especially like I know you studied outside of home, right, for a lot of your life. So
yeah,
technically you
most of my
were like
life
on
I
your
have stayed
own,
alone.
and yeah, so it's just interesting to hear you say that because I've always seen you as like this is gonna sound hokey, but that like strong, independent woman in the best way. That like any situation that I'm in, if I'm with you, I know I'm gonna be okay. You know what I mean?
I am
And
honored you think that way,
yeah.
but internally we have still our own demons, no, to face.
Oh, 100%. 100%. You put on a strong face. That maybe that's being the older sister, right? Taking care of Shivam and caring for him and caring for mom and dad, and for me, quite frankly, you're a very caring person. So maybe that's why I see you that way, and what you've shown. But thank you for sharing that. I think that like when I went to university, I was on my own technically by choice. Like it's not like my parents kicked me out or I was even that far away, but I said I want to stay on my own, and I had a lot of moments of just feeling like really lonely, and trying to understand why this thing that I wanted became almost like a prison cell that I put myself in, and had to learn how to be alone without feeling lonely,
Yeah.
and experience that joy. So, how can we, or I guess, like, what's a common behavior? What do you see? So, you're talking about like it can happen because of trauma, or it can happen just like because, like, for a lot of people, that's a fear.
Not
What kind of
necessarily trauma,
behaviors?
but I'll give you
Yeah.
example. Like we have been
Okay.
conditioned, or we have been made feel that being alone is a punishment.
Well, yeah,
If
you
you
get put in
imagine, if you
timeout when
are
you're a young
sitting
child.
alone in the
Yeah,
restaurant and eating, if someone
yeah,
passes by and they show pity at you, they don't think that, oh, she's enjoying her own company. They think that, oh, no one is there to sit with
yeah,
her, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah,
has been
100%.
ingrained in us, that being alone is a punishment, or being alone is a something bad. But
Mm,
actually, it's, if you see, the loneliness is a sense of lack, where you are craving for the company, that someone will come. You put your validation, or your this whatever the sense of belonging in external world, like other people will make you
yeah,
feel present.
yeah,
But
yeah,
solitude is
100%.
something that you are present in your own self,
Yeah, it's kind of like enjoying your own company.
own
You know what I mean?
company.
Like,
Yes.
yeah, and what an opportunity. Like, I think, well, maybe can we talk about some ways that, like, people can learn to transform that, like from
Yeah.
loneliness into solitude? I don't mean to
Yeah.
jump ahead in the
No,
conversation,
no,
but
no.
it might be a good diving in point to explore some things. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Uh,
before understanding that, we need to understand that why we are scared of solitude, or why we are scared of being
okay.
alone.
Okay.
Because
So
then we can
let's do that first.
understand, and
Yeah.
solutions will be taken up more better. So before,
Okay. Okay.
when you are in silence, imagine, we keep hearing music, we keep hearing podcasts, we keep learning, we keep having doom scrolling, or digital, what do you say,
Yeah.
online things. We stay on one of the,
Yeah.
or if we are sitting and we keep seeing our messages, if is there any message, is there any like notification. So that is us being addicted to something, like literally the social media industry is
Yeah.
totally based on this soul concept,
Distraction. Yeah.
distraction.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh, it's like a noise to avoid the internal uncomfortable silence. It's like,
No, it's a,
because
yeah.
yeah, it's because we have so many unprocessed emotions, so we are afraid to go inwards.
Yeah.
We keep
It's like you
on
never need to
keep ourselves busy,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
that we don't have to face this internal conflict, or internal judgment, or being true to yourself. We say authentic self, but we are so scared of seeing that authentic self, because we are very judgmental towards ourselves.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of people have a problem with the question, who are you? But what if you
Yeah,
could just list, you know what I mean, all of the qualities and understand that that's what makes you you, whether it's good or bad. I'm saying it with air quotes because I don't want to go into that like polar opposite space again, but when I think about things that maybe I used to see as like my faults, uh I I don't run away from it anymore. I try to hear myself out. Let's say, okay, I have these behaviors. Is it something I want to improve? Am I hurting myself or others by maintain, you know what I mean, by having this behavior or having this
yeah,
trait?
yeah,
Is it just part of who I am? Has it gotten better over time? Like when you actually sit with it, you can kind of distance yourself from the emotion and start to think about it. And then sometimes I'll discover that, okay, well, I know that I'm just kind of this way, and maybe I can work on it in certain scenarios, but it's also done all of these things for me. Like I'm not thinking of a specific trait as I'm saying this, but um, I think that being gentle with yourself and but still hearing yourself out, being willing and brave to go there and have those conversations is important.
is very
And I
necessary.
totally agree. Yeah, and that whole thing about distraction, I totally agree with. I think it was you that told me what, like when you came and visited last year, you asked me like if I ever just like sit and be quiet, like not be quiet as in I know I talk a lot, but that's not what you asked me. You asked me if I just sit with myself and like not do anything, like not have a TV on or not like be looking at something on YouTube or I don't know, like reels or you know what I mean, like not even be reading. Like, do you just sit there like and give your brain a rest? And I think at the time I was like, no, I don't like, yeah. But, and then I thought about it afterwards and I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. And I want you to know that I do that now and again, where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take like 5 minutes. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not looking at anything. I'm not even thinking about anything. I'm just going to sit in the quiet, see what comes, and just let it happen.
Yeah.
And it's really nice. Like you can really recharge. You know what I mean? And it's like sleeping without being unconscious. And you get to know how you are, right, in those moments. It's almost like being like in a doctor's office waiting. You know that there's like a set period of time where you're just hanging out, and you can't really go anywhere or do anything, but kind of enjoy it. Is that what you mean, or are there other?
It's one of the aspects, yes.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
like
So yeah.
this whole social media industry are selling us the illusion of being connected, but
Yeah.
like one like, one subscribe, one, all these things gives us a release of dopamine. So
Yeah.
dopamine is
Yeah.
a hormone which keeps us, earlier used to, some people used to think it's a reward hormone, that if you do something you feel rewarded, but it's actually a
Mm.
pursuit hormone. It keeps us
Yep.
crave more for those stimulus. So that's why
Yep.
one reel, you go other, and that leads to doom scrolling.
Yep.
Or if
And
you
then
keep,
they set it up that
yes,
way, right? They
everybody
want
has
you
a
to do that.
different
Yeah.
stimulus which gives them dopamine, so they are addicted to more for that. But it's actually not actually very healthy. But rather than that, we need to crave for true connection. Like true connection is something which is measured by emotional safety. That means
Yeah.
you can be
Yeah.
truly authentic or vulnerable to yourself without any judgment, and that is very difficult because we are not trained for that.
Yep. Yep.
So
And
when
just
you are
like balance, like
silent,
in,
yeah.
yeah, when you're
So
silent, you said?
when you are silent, all those thoughts, all those fear, all those anxiety, anything can come up, and you are not equipped to face that because we have been said that that's bad, that's bad. But that is just
Hmm.
our body or the brain's way of saying that, see, I found these things, you need to deal with this, you need to process this so I can get rid of it. It's one of the part
Hmm.
of mental hygiene practice. Like your
Hmm.
brain
Yeah.
has a job of you showing the mirror, or it's a actually helping tool to you to survive. So for your
Hmm.
survival we need healing. We need to deal with the actually triggers of the anxiety or anything. They are just a messenger, they are not the bad thing. But
Yep.
I don't know how to explain that, but we have
Conditioned. Yeah.
I see so many people being afraid of the triggers. Actually triggers are letting you
Yeah.
know that there is something inside of you. You need to deal with that, you need to process that,
Yeah.
and you need to heal from that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I used to like I was a very agreeable person for a lot of my life, and once I realized that, or rather was made to realize that, I started to study people who were more, I guess, what's the opposite of agreeable? Like more direct, or more
at least you
like
listen to
not
yourself
afraid to.
before doing things or saying yes or no. I think we can say like that.
Yeah, but I like to observe. Like like I pay attention when somebody says no. Now in any space that I'm in, it used to scare me. I used to think like, well, why is this person saying no? Like because I was that agreeable that I was like, oh, we
Because
have to
we
say
have
yes.
been
We have to
said
do
that
this.
saying no is a bad thing. Even I was the
Yes.
same.
So yeah. Okay. So now I study that person in a way of like, oh, I like they were brave to do this. Why did they say no? Were they, you know what I mean? Sometimes people are just saying it for the sake of it, but sometimes it's because they're standing up for what they believe is true, or because what the person is saying, they really need to be told no. Like it really feels like the right thing to do, but it's the tough thing to do. And that was one of the ways that I started to break those habits, and that almost like that sense of duty in my own brain of thinking that I had to just, oh, if I'm feeling something, that means it must be true, and I have to take it on, and I have to feel guilty about this, and I have to regret that one embarrassing thing that happened to me 5 years ago. And one day I just said, well, like, what if I just gave myself permission to not do that? To okay, you think about it, your brain's thinking about it, you're experiencing that emotion, but what if it doesn't mean anything? You know what I mean? Or what if it doesn't have to mean that you have to respond in a certain way? And I feel like that kind of removes a bit of the fear of of sitting with your own thoughts, because then you can start to just observe. But
Yeah.
I learned it from studying other people too. You said that you were agreeable as well. Uh, what are some ways that you uh, like worked towards solitude as opposed to like loneliness, especially someone like you said you've been on your own a lot, right? Like
Yeah.
family's close by, it's not that, but because of studies, because of work, that you've lived away from the family, right? So yeah, can you talk to me about some of those strategies?
So that time I didn't know that these are the strategies, but I used to love reading. I used to love watching movies. So I used to keep myself busy.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
my defense mechanism at that time. But now,
Okay.
I after I am starting to learning about myself. I initially I had no clue. It's not like that. It's a swip. It's not a semantics to just
Yeah.
say that you will flip a switch and it will happen. It's
Yep.
a process. Someday it will work, someday it will not work, but you have to overcome that resistance, because
Yeah.
brain's main job is to keep you survived. So what
Yeah.
will happen is it will conserve the energy and it will go back to the old self or go back to the old ways. So you need to
Yeah.
overcome from that resistance and understand that where you need to heal. It's like being, rather than being afraid of anxiety, understand about it, why you are being anxious, what is it making you anxious. So
Yep.
some of the things which I tried to understand is being aware. So initially,
Okay.
my therapist told me that you don't have to do anything. Just train your brain to be aware where you are agreeing. And then when you have the
Mm.
chance, understand why you are agreeing. What was it
Okay.
that was making you agree to that? Sometimes we don't want to
Yeah.
conflict the situation, or don't want to,
Yeah.
say, be in be,
Yeah.
that all the what are the fallouts can happen if I say no. That's why
Hmm.
it's easier way to not go to that
Yeah.
disagreement or whatsoever. Or sometimes in your
Yeah.
head that you are a nice person, a nice person is
Wouldn't say
always
no.
there for everyone. If you feel guilty
Yeah.
that, oh, I said no,
Yep.
I should have said yes. But it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you can help everyone, but it's their own responsibility also to help themselves also. Like, you can
Yeah.
help
And
me
what a
to certain
powerful
extent,
exercise.
but if I'm stubborn
Yeah.
enough, no matter what you do, I will not listen to it. So
Yep.
sometimes
And
saying
if
no
you're,
is helping themselves.
yeah. Yeah. And if you're tracking that, you can see, did I say yes to the same person 20 times to no
20 times.
avail, right?
Yeah.
Or did I say
Yeah.
yes in the same situations where maybe I can rethink it? You can start, like I said, right? You get away from the emotion of it and you can start to think more like intellectually about things.
Yeah.
It's almost like a data science it becomes, right? Like you're collecting data at that point, and
Yeah.
then you have numbers that you can analyze and see what are the trends and what are the patterns. Not to make it like life so mechanical, but so what are some important questions? Maybe we can do that, and then I'll give you the final word, because I think that this has been a really good foundation, and it's a callback to a lot of other episodes we've done in a good way, talking about being real, talking about celebrity culture, even talking about like the danger of social media. Um, I haven't touched AI. I usually bring AI into the conversation, but I won't for today. But so let's talk about this, and then we'll do the final word. Like, what are some questions that you can start to answer when you do this work? And I know you just talked about the first step, but as you move towards solitude, like, what are some things that it might uncover, or even that
So
it uncovered for you? Like some
so
questions. Yeah.
initially it will be like, if you decide to turn off the TV, turn off the, your online media or OTT or the podcast or YouTube or your even your earphones, and totally be silent, it's going to be very uncomfortable. Don't think that it will
Hmm.
be a piece of cake. But when you
Yeah.
sit with yourself, start with by doing 5 minutes a day, 7 minutes a day. Even if you can start with 1 minute, and that 1
Mm.
minute would look like 1 hour initially, but the more you cross and the more you go through your resistance, then the all the answers will come up. So
Yeah.
actually we say no,
Yeah.
the light is on the other end of the tunnel, so we need to cross that tunnel and reach to the light. And when you are sitting alone, ask yourself like who you think you are, why the way you are, the why you are like that, and what do you want to become or what do you want in life. We sometimes run on the just on automated mode and we don't know what we are doing. We are just doing the same job or same business or same routine without, and then we keep on complaining that we don't have time for ourselves. But actually,
Yeah.
because we are not facing that uncomfortable conversation, that's why we are not having
Yeah.
time for ourselves. So when why do you seek sometimes why do you seek praise, where do you are dependent on others, where you are dependent on your own partner, because we sometimes reflects our core desires, that we can
Yeah.
discuss some in some other episodes as well. But we
Yeah.
like we put our own core desires to become felt by our partner, and that is a very big burden. But we need to understand that until we internally are emotionally safe, the partner is not going to make you feel safe that way. And that's a very big thing to discuss, but I'm just
Yeah.
bringing it out for the reflection. So all these
I
things we
like it.
can
Yeah.
ask, and we can try to bring turn loneliness into solitude by doing few activities where we don't need a social media, or we don't need to be engaged to things, rather than do things which are making us using our brain or using our body, and bringing the body mind connection like meditation,
Yeah.
journaling. Initially
Yeah.
journaling can be very difficult because we don't know what to write. I had no clue how to journal, and still sometimes I feel very confused. So there are prompted journals also available, which gives you a prompts, and from that question or from that prompt, you can reflect on that, and that is the initial way of starting to at least start the process or start the journey. And then you can listen to the music, but to the certain amount, do the digital detox. I'm not asking you
Yeah.
to cut off the complete social media. We can do that, but we don't want to go cold turkey on everything. But what we can do is, in a day, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, we can be without any without our phone, like no notification, no calls, no music, no podcast, nothing, just silence. And that will bring
Yeah.
so many uncomfortable emotions. Write them down and reflect upon them whenever you feel comfortable. You don't have to deal with it
Mhm.
right away that I have felt it and I'm going to. Sometimes just by knowing makes you, in that moment, only knowing makes you go ahead in the journey. Then later on, when you feel safe, when you want to understand the emotion, why I am feeling the way, every answer is inside you only, because you know yourself better. And if you don't feel know the answer, you can seek help, you can go for counseling, you can go for therapy, or the
Yeah.
any whichever way you feel comfortable, you can opt for that. And you can do meditation, even traveling. What you like, what puts you what connects you more to yourself, you need to do those of activity rather than just getting distracted. So I
Mm.
think those are the starting points, and we can put little few of the reflection question in the description, so they can everybody can reflect on that.
Sure. 100%. Um, I didn't intend this to be like a plug for art therapy, but I kind of feel like art therapy is a good way to take that time. You're not technically
Yeah.
doing nothing because you're doing art, but
Yeah.
it's like a
Art is a
good
very
way to sit with your
so art is a
thoughts.
very
Yeah.
beautiful way of
Mhm.
it's not you are so when you are using art therapy, you are not like when you are making some design or some figure, that is like you are there is a result you are aiming for. But when you are
Yeah.
actually want to go in a solitude and process your internal environment, what you need to do is choose the color which you like, choose the brush or choose the crayon or whatever source of expression you want. You just go with the flow, you don't aim for any outcome or any design or any product. You just go and enjoy the journey. That release itself will doesn't need a word sometimes. You don't need to
Mm,
tell. It will be like so many uncomfortable emotions will be released like that only. And then think that what that makes you feel, and what are you feeling better, or is there anything you need to process. This is a start. We can go for when you are aiming and we are crossing the resistance. This can activity also can give a lot of calmness.
that's awesome. So, okay, so is this your final word? Or can you give, because that was a very good explanation and you gave a lot of really good info there. How should we end this? Maybe we'll do something short and sweet as like a final word for our reflection on loneliness and solitude. Uh,
So it's like, ask yourself, when was the last time you enjoyed your own company? Because this is the company you are going to be with till the rest of your life, till the day you die. So
yeah,
why don't you,
yeah,
start enjoying your own company and stop judging yourself? Can you sit
yeah,
without checking your phone for at least a minute? Ask yourself that. And why do you seek distraction? That we will discuss later on more in detail. But just try to give yourself at least a minute in a day, or 5 minutes in a
yeah.
day as per your journey. And think, do meditate, do reading, do journaling, and enjoy your own company. I think that's my last word.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. That was actually a really concise way to sum up everything that we talked about. And I think we've laid a really good foundation for this conversation. Of course, as always, we could go further. Um, uh, but we'll leave it at that for now. A couple of ideas of future episodes, so I won't give away the bag on what the next episode will be, but we will be back next week with another episode for you. Thank you, Dr. Art. What a great discussion today. I feel like this one, we make this for the viewers, but I also feel like selfishly like I very much enjoyed this conversation too. So thank you. This is an episode I'll definitely replay for myself. I hope you feel the same, folks. If you have anything you want to add in the comments, please do so. We'll put those questions. But for now, we'll say goodbye. Say goodbye, Dr. Art.
Goodbye.
Bye,
What I
everybody.
wouldn't do for my city. 3 for my city, 4 for my city. No, I'm the one who'd go to war for my city. 5 for my city, 6 is my city. Holla at me if y'all vibe with my city. Come try on my city, don't you lie in my city. Symbol of truth, I'll fight for my city.
The West East podcast is part of the We campaign, also known as Anti-East Indian Hate Campaign by Viragya Entertainment. You can weigh in on the conversation in the meantime in our comments section or on our social media. You can also visit www.imshivam.net/w.e. Remember, Vasudev Kutumbakam. We are all one family. Until next time.